Retired Homicide Sergeant Dave Walker has just started doing podcasts about murder cases he helped solve.
Walker spent 36 years on the Tulsa Police Department. He worked undercover drugs, burglary, robbery, and spent his last 7 years working homicide.
News on 6 crime reporter Lori Fulbright talks to Walker about this new venture.
Sergeant Dave Walker has been retired from the department for about a year now, and of course people are always asking him to talk about those cases that he worked. Well, now he's found a way to talk about those cases in depth and with details we've never heard before.
Welcome to Solve 'Em, a true crime podcast.
Dave Walker can talk from memory about pretty much every murder he worked since 2011, and he wants to do that as a way to chronicle those cases and all that went into solving them.
Backstory to a lot of these cases you don't get on the news, you don't get in the trials because we can't get into that, but there's a lot of interesting characters in law enforcement to tell a story, and then there's a lot of characters on the criminal side and how these cases come together. Pretty much don't get told other than in story form.
He thought about writing a book, but decided that didn't suit him. But talking about the cases he lived through, he worried about and felt connected to, that he could do.
We can get into more of the emotional part of working these crime scenes and actually get into the detective's psyche that says, my gosh, you know, we're not just the guy you see on TV walking around with a notepad and taking notes and stepping over dead bodies. It affects us a lot more than we want to admit at that time.
The attitude that we had is every one of these murders will be solved.
He says a lot of crime shows are only about entertainment, and that just didn't feel right to him. He wanted to do something with a purpose, and he believes making a record of these cases is important for the victims, their families, and the officers and DAs who work to get justice.
You know, at the end of the day, we're all working towards one goal, and that's to solve somebody's loved one's murder.
He says he plans to release a new podcast about every week. Right now, you can find them on Spotify and iTunes. In Tulsa, Lori Fulbright, Oklahoma's Own News on 6.